Hey there. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing really well. I actually want to take these off because I think you see me a little bit better without the glare on my glasses. I have a couple things to just tell y'all about. One of the things that I've been wondering is that might be happening with the money that I've been losing is I do leave my purse out on the porch sometimes. Now, I do it so infrequently that I'm really not sure. I'm almost 100% sure that this is not what's happening. But I don't know if you can see it, but that little guy right there, he is a camera. And he's motion activated. It's actually a pet cam. And I have it aimed at the porch now because I want to know if somebody's coming up on the porch and taking my things. If there is somebody, I actually think I know who it is because not them, but someone that they were attached to as part of a couple. The person I think is sneaking on, if there is somebody, the person that is sneaking on to the porch to look through my purse is attached or was a part of a couple with somebody who used to stay at my house, which I was helping somebody who was homeless at the time. Okay, so anyway, if they are doing that, that motion sensor camera is eventually going to catch them at it. And I will have my answer. If that is the case, I will have footage of them and I know who they are. So that'll be great because I'll be able to prosecute. So I know that they have stolen money from some other people, and I really think if I'm not just losing the money arbitrarily, which I might not be, then that's where it's going. Now, that being said, my MS is bad enough that I might just be losing it. Now, which would make the theft even worse because what it does is it creates doubt in my own head, which I don't need any more. I don't need any more self-doubt about my memory or my cognitive abilities or anything like that. So anyway, so I've got my solution, or at least I'm going to figure out, darn it, who it is, or I'm going to figure out, nobody. I figure after a month, if nobody comes up here, then it went the way of the dodo. I have no idea if it got dropped out of my bag or what. So anyway, and I think if that's the case, I am going to get a very different kind of purse because I think maybe it just came out when I pulled my wallet out, like it just came with it, and fell on the floor somewhere, and that was it. Anyway, okay, so there's that. Now, I have this other thing that I want to attend to, and even though I was really upset yesterday, and you could see I was visibly upset, I had trouble not crying while I was talking to y'all yesterday, and some of that is I've got some things going down that are just hard to take, and I don't want to dwell on them. It does no good. If it were something that sadness was telling me you need to take an action, then I would be telling you about it. But it's just sadness, and it's not dwelling on it is not helping the situation at all. Tony teaches us that emotions that come up, even overpowering ones, are signals to act, to take some kind of action most of the time. But in this case, there is no action to be taken. So I've already done everything that I can do. but I'm just upset, and it's okay to be upset. I'm trying to learn how to be okay with it, whatever emotion comes up. As I talked to you before, I had a mother and I'm reminding you that 90% of what my mother did, I really honor and appreciate. I really honor that my mother, first of all, cared enough about my well-being to coach me in this way. I love the fact that I do think of others and their emotional states before I overreact with whatever my own reaction to any particular situation is. And I actually love that about myself. I really think that that's great. So I'm very careful with my language too because of that, because I am very sensitive to the feelings of others. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. Please understand, I'm not saying I'm perfect. But 9 times out of 10, I will find a way to say it that's very diplomatic, but still gets my point across, but doesn't hurt the other person's feelings. That's not my style. Anyway, but what I did do, and I forget, I did that rambling thing. I'm sorry. I've got something to show you, and I will maybe write in, as you well know, sometimes I put some things above. When I go back to review and I figure out that I've missed a point that I was trying to make, then I'll fill it in with text. So anyway, but what I have to show you is that I have, as you well know, I have 6 different areas, and those areas are for my 6 different foci, as I'm calling them. I figure it's kind of like fungi, focus, foci. That's what I figured. Anyway, okay, so for my foci, I have, for each individual foci, each individual's focus. Sorry, the plural is foci. It's so weird because it seems like it would be backwards. Anyway, I have what I call my 10-minute solution and what I call my panic button. So on any given day, if that day is just too much, or say I have a day where I'm in bed, or that day that I talked about that I need kind of a day of downtime. If I have that day, I will still be able to, with the shortened version of each one of my foci, I'll still be able to keep my commitment of paying attention to it every day. And that looks like this. Okay, so for pink, and I may take a picture of this. Well, no, I won't, because I think you would have trouble reading it. I don't think a photograph would do it. But okay, so for my just bare essential day, not for the panic button day. The panic button is the absolute minimum. And I have those framed things. As you can see, those framed things. What I'm going to do is affix, and I'm calling this I've got to get some more of these somehow. But I'm going to paint them all. But this is a panic button. Okay? So I've got 2 different things. I've got a bare essentials list of things to do, and then I've got the panic button version, which is the completely super, super, super truncated, but still keeping my commitment to any given thing or any given area. Okay, so the truncated version is like the 10-minute version, and the panic button is like the 2-minute version. So I've got these 2 different things. So for my pink area, my my 10-minute version is doing my own Mary Kay skincare and also doing a light makeup day. Now, what I was wearing the other day when I filmed was my light makeup. So that's going to be like the bare minimum, okay? And then, in fact, I'm going to walk through all the shortened things before I tell you about what the panic day would be, I think. The thing that I'm sorry, I'm getting frazzled because I'm excited. Okay, so on my orange, which actually, because it has so many things in it, is a little bit more complicated. So maybe it will wind up taking 20 minutes or maybe 30, because I've decided the bare essentials for the orange are take a walk, practice my guitar, and alkalize. Those 3 things have to happen. Okay? And then, let's see, there are a couple of things that I will decide on a weekly basis what my 10-minute version or my 10-minute focus is for that particular week. Okay, so for gold, I got a bunch of books on self-publishing. So right now, my 10-minute focus is 10 minutes with one of those books. Okay? That's for our bare essentials. I've addressed that category and kept my commitment. Okay. The same thing for okay, so gold, green, and blue all have what's this week's focus and a 10-minute version of that. Last week, green had aquaponics as a focus, and there was this aquaponics course that I signed up for, so it was simply listening to one of those courses. It's an online YouTube-y type course. So taking 10 minutes of my day to do that would have fulfilled this last week. Now I'm done with that, so I've got a new focus for this week. Okay, 10 minutes of cleaning. That's just it, and that will change. This week I'm working in my bathroom. Last week I was working in the refrigerator. The refrigerator it really hadn't been deep cleaned for a very long time, and I wanted to get it all cleaned and set up some new priorities around food and that kind of stuff in there. Okay. Pink for helping mom. Bare minimum day is making breakfast and having it on the stove for her. Most of the time I make breakfast and put it out for her, actually, along with the milk she puts on it, and have her coffee like ready to go, everything. Like I set the table for her. But my bare minimum morning is to just get the breakfast done. And then also help her dress if that day requires me doing that. Sometimes she doesn't seem to need my help. It just depends on like where she is. Like if she's really out of it, then she needs my help with that. So we're both learning what that looks like on a daily basis. Okay, so my hot buttons. And the thing that is great about these, I've got to get more of these. I'm so excited. But I don't know if you can hear it, but it's got a little... So I'm going to mount this on that, those framed things. I'm going to mount it on there. And then when I have to... The thing that I like about this idea, it's a little bit like... do you remember these buttons?
That was easy.
That's what it reminds me of. So I want to have... It's like the panic button. So for any of my individual focuses. Now, even on a day that I've done a lot of like the truncated version, like the versions I just told you all about, even on those days, maybe the day is so crazy that some of the categories switch to the panic button version to still keep my commitment. And these are 2-minute versions of everything. Now, these aren't, this isn't going to, it won't work if every day becomes a truncated version, or a panic button version. But for those times in my life, for those times in my life when, the shit hits the fan, life happens sometimes. My friend really needed me today, and, so I don't really need the panic button versions, but I'm going to do them because, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the truncated versions until I get to about 9 o'clock, and then the rest of them are going to become the panic button, just because I want to keep my commitment to myself, but I wanted to honor my friend with my time because that's what needed to happen today. Okay? All right. So here are my panic button versions for each category. For pink, it's put on lipstick. If I simply put on lipstick, I have put my focus on my Mary Kay business. That's it. That's my panic button version. Number 2, my panic button version for orange, which is all about self-improvement and that kind of stuff. One of the things that I do on my walk is a version of breathing called square breathing. So what I'm going to do for my 2-minute panic button version of that
was easy.
is I am going to do 2 minutes of square breathing only. That doesn't mean I get up and walk. That doesn't mean, but 2 minutes, that's it. Okay? For my gold category, I have a new app, which is kind of a fun little app, and it's absolutely free. And what it does is it reads affirmations. Now, the guy has kind of an accent, and it's a little annoying to me, with my background in singing and that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff just kind of bothers me, and I don't want it to undo the good that it could do. So I may just read those to myself, but what I'm going to do is spend 2 minutes with those affirmations of abundance. So one of the things that I'm doing is focusing on abundance so that the money, all of that money abundance and that kind of stuff, I've decided that is definitely one of the things that I have to focus on in the gold category, in the money category, to make it happen. I have to grab the bull by the horns as far as my own psychology about money. And one of the things that I can do that's really the best thing for me is to think about it as abundance. And one of the things that Tony said now I'm going to forget his name, but I'll put it right above my head. But Sir John Templeton, I think was his name. And one of the things that he said was that, long story short, one of the things that I got out of it was that people that have a conscience, I think I have a little bit of that 80s and 90s, that people that have money are sometimes mean and sometimes whatever. And I think it helps me to think that people with money need to be of high moral character. So if I have money and I have high moral character, that's really going to be a blessing for the world. So therefore, I need to have money so I can vote with my money on certain things. So that's part of me rearranging it, and that's part of the reason I've decided about these affirmations too. So, and I'm hoping to quantify that into a saying or something, that idea that Sir John Templeton shared. But it really, one of the things that he was just a wonderful philanthropist, along with being a brilliant money guy. And he talks about richness of spirit as much as he talks about, richness of bank account. And that's the kind of person that I want to be as far as my money. So anyway, okay, so, and I may goose this one later because this one isn't perfect as far as I'm concerned. It's not like the thing I love about the Mary Kay one is it's so bloody simple. Lipstick. And the thing that I would really like to have something that easy for this next category, and that's green, and that's aquaponics and garden. Right now, what I've put in here, until I think of something better, and I'm going to think of something better, is that I will have a YouTube. I will go to YouTube and watch something that either has to do with aquaponics or a garden. There are a couple of channels that I follow. I'll put them in. Now, I don't know how to put them in my, like in there, but I'll figure it out. But anyway, I don't know how to put them in the video yet, but I'll put them down in the comments. Not the comments. There are like notes section for this video, and one of them is M.I. Gardner. He's a wonderful gardener. He's in Michigan, which is my daddy's country. That's where some of my people are from, or at least half of my people. And there's another. Well, there are a couple guys that are all over the place, but there's another guy that I think his channel is called The School of Aquaponics, and he's really fun. Anyway, and don't want to be no biscuit-headed aquaponics grower. I love that. Anyway, he's all about not having you waste time doing the same biscuit-headed things that he did when he started out. So he's really about kind of helping you get, where you want to go instead of fumbling around in the dark. And when you're on a real budget, you need somebody that's like that so that you don't waste money when you're learning how to do new things. It's very important. So anyway, okay, so for now, that's my panic button. I've got to get five more of these to do this. Okay, and then for cleaning, I've decided washing my coffee cup is me paying attention to cleaning. That's just it. Okay. And for the last one, for my mom, I got an app. I don't like this one. It's not simple enough. It needs to be something simple like the lipstick. But I've got an app that is, and I'll put the name of the app up at the top. I'm forgetting the name of it. But I think it's called like Remind Me or something like that. And it's an app for people who are taking care of seniors. Oh, lovely. I've got had a bug on me. Anyway, and they're so they've got, I filled out my mom's profile, and then what it does is it has a lot of different things to do with her on any given day, and I can pick one of those things, and if I do that with her, then that's it. Now, at the same time, I'm still going to have to make breakfast for her. So, I don't know. Maybe that becomes I've got to think about that. Because it's not like I can stop taking care of my mom on any given day. So, there you have it. Anyway, so those are my buttons. And those are my things. So, I'm really excited about that. And I've gone on really long today. But that's the way it is. And I will talk to you later. And
That was easy.
all right. Talk to you later. Bye.